I have been searching for my entire life for one thing. The ultimate morning routine. Okay, I have been searching for some other things as well, but I really have been looking for the best possible ways to start my day. How can I wake up and be as creatively charged as possible so I can put that into the world to bring value to people? I have been looking everywhere, like a crazy pirate looking for a treasure chest. I've been digging here, and I've been trying, ice baths, meditation, waking up at 3 a.m., smart drugs, brain games, anything you can come up with, I've tried it. And I think I have found it. In the most unexpected way. And that is what I'm so excited to share with you today. So we're going to go on a journey together, explore some lines of thoughts on how to accomplish this best way to start our days. And we're going to explore some interesting questions like, what is even the purpose of a morning routine in the first place? And is there a way I can structure my time, habits, and energy so my output can be much higher, maybe 200 to 500% higher? Sounds far-fetched? Maybe, but I know it's possible. And definitely stick around to the last of these steps where I explore how you can use these productivity mindsets to be tailor-made in your own world. I'm so excited to get started. Let's take this journey together. Roll that intro right now. Step 1 to the ultimate morning routine is to avoid traps. Because there are traps out there. Imagine that you are a pirate digging for the treasure that is your ultimate morning routine. When you do, you don't want to dig mindlessly. You don't want to say, well, there is a treasure somewhere here, so I'm just going to start digging. And that digging everywhere mindset is kind of how I started my journey towards finding the ultimate morning routine. I thought the more things I try, the more things I do, the more I dig, the better off I'm going to be. And instead of having that mindset, I think a really good place to start is to having a treasure map. And the treasure map is asking ourselves the question, what is the purpose of the morning routine? Because without having a clear answer to that, you are just going to look everywhere and you're going to fall in to the biggest trap when it comes to morning routine, which is the more is better trap. And I was in the more is better trap for so many years. I thought the more of these different routines that I found on the internet that I try and stack on to each other, the better off I'm going to be. I had the more is better trap, both in my morning routine, but also in the way I was working in general. I was playing professional poker for 10 years, and I thought the more I play, the more money I'm going to make. And that makes sense if your job would be to move rocks from one place to another, and that is what you do all day. If you're a rock mover, then your output over time is going to be linear. The more time you spend moving rocks, the more rocks will have been moved, right? But unless you're a robot, what's going to allow you to bring value to the world in 2021 is not something that is just mechanical and repetitive. And if you try that, robots are soon going to take over. No, you are into creative work. You want to set yourself up to have a day where you have as much highly creative energy as possible to put into the world so you can give value to people. Right? Now ask yourself this question. Is there a way that you can be 500% more effective when you do your creative work? I think that you are already doing that sometimes. If you look throughout your day, in the times where you are the least effective, compared to the times where you are the most in the flow, Would you say that you're 500% more effective? Easily, I would say. I would even say that you're infinitely more effective and that your output is infinitely better. Why? Because the output curve for creative work is not constant like when you move the rocks. It's actually diminishing, like this. What I mean by that is, in the end of a day, the more effort you put in, you're actually gonna start losing your output. For me, this was very obvious when I played professional poker, because I would regularly pull off 12, 15-hour days or even more. And those last 4 or 5 hours I played, even though I put in equally amount of energy, I would play so bad because I was tired that I would start losing my edge over my opponents, and I would start not making any money at all, or I would even play so bad that I would start losing money. You see, I'm entering negative returns on more effort put in. And poker is somewhat extreme as an example, but I think it's true for any creative person. Imagine that you're trying to come up with a music piece or write something. Maybe the time you spend late in the evening when you're really tired, you might not accomplish anything. You might just create a lot of useful work that you're not gonna use later and that you have spent time editing and like removing. Or you might take time away from stuff that could give you energy, like family and sleep. So remember, this is your input-output curve. You're gonna lose output by doing more. So the first principle of a strong morning routine is know why you want it and understand that a lot of the times doing less stuff is better. The second step to the ultimate morning routine builds on the first one, and it's called don't screw yourself over the night before. All right, great advice, but I wish someone would have told me this when I was in my early 20s, because I took pride in being a person with a good morning routine, because I did 2 hours of stuff. But I had the worst evening routines ever. So a big reason why I needed this 2-hour morning routine was just to kind of compensate for all the shit I did the night before. So there are a few steps to not screwing yourself over, and I will go through them right now. All right, 6 steps to not screwing yourself over the night before. And the first one is to recognize when you, yes you, are in that land of diminishing returns. When you're putting a lot of effort into your projects the night before, but you're really tired. And pay attention to when you wake up the next day and you don't really feel like yourself. You don't really have the drive. You didn't really sleep that well. That is a sign that you are screwing yourself over. Step 2 to not screwing yourself over is to avoid things that are stimulating to you after 8 p.m. Start going offline. Install an app that blocks social media. Don't check your email after 8 p.m. Don't read any books or watch any movies or anything that will start, triggering a lot of thoughts for you. Do things that is winding your nervous system down and start preparing yourself to go to sleep. Step 3. A great way to screw yourself over is to have a lot of bright and blue lights in your apartment after 8 p.m. Because think about it. When in nature would you see blue light or strong white light? In the middle of the day, right? When the sun is right up there in the sky. So our biology is wired to, if we see blue light, we're gonna start being awake. So if the last thing you do before going to bed is to look in your phone, that is having a blue light, you're going to screw yourself over. So a great way to not do that is to change all your bright lights in your apartment, start turning them off, and install blue light filter on all your technical devices so you don't get exposed to this blue light that activates your brain. Step number 4. A great way to screw yourself over is to eat a huge dinner, so you go to bed like a snake that has just been eating a rat, Or if you're drinking stimulating beverages like caffeine and alcohol, is a great way to screw yourself over and not get a good night's sleep. So prepare yourself the day before. Eat a sensible dinner, avoid caffeine, avoid alcohol, avoid too much sugar as well, that can be stimulating. You want to start winding your nervous system down. Step 5, to not screw yourself over, is to spend some time in the end of the day taking care of your body. I found that some light yoga, like yin yoga, or deep tissue massage, or some meditation is working really well to get myself out of my mind and into my body. And step 6 is to go to bed. Go to bed is a great way to not screw yourself over. Be in bed by 10 and just do some breathing, meditation, light reading, relaxing, and start preparing yourself for a good night's sleep. All right, my beloved treasure hunter. You have completed the first 2 steps. You have realized that there are traps and found ways to avoid them by creating your own treasure map. And you have managed to act in a way the day before so you're not screwing yourself over. You are ready for the ultimate morning routine. And that is, number 3, to wake up and feel fucking great. Feel charged, full of life, full of creative energy, without any effort. It's so funny because I spent 2 hours every morning just trying to get myself into flow. And I realized that now when I have removed the stuff from my life that is screwing myself over, I wake up feeling charged. I wake up in the flow state. I need so little to get there. My mornings these days usually look like boiling coffee, stretching a little bit because I'm stiff in the morning, doing some breathing exercise, and then I'm good to go. I'm good to give value to my coaching clients, be here in front of the camera, producing stuff, whatever it is. And it's so effortless and so easy to maintain. I've been doing the same morning routine now for 5 years, and it doesn't take me any willpower or discipline. And that's so useful. I used to invest all of my willpower in just completing this long morning routine. And now I save that for later in the day. And I don't need to feel guilty because I don't have time or I don't have energy to do all of these things. It can be a lot simpler when you remove the stuff that is hurting you. The 4th step is, don't think that what works for me will work for you. And this is so important, and it's such an unexpected way to think about having a good morning routine. Because I got asked the other day, you seem so productive on social media. How do you structure your time? And what I'm thinking is, how I structure my time has nothing to do with how you should structure your time. And I really want to say this because it's going to be so tempting for you to try to just repeat the ways I am using to not screw myself over in the evening. What's going to work for you is highly personal, right? So the way I'm being the most productive is to work 7 days per week, 2 to 4 hours in the morning doing creative stuff where I have super high input, but then take a lot of afternoons off. I take random Tuesdays off sometimes when I feel like it. And that's something that works for me because I have energy in the morning. In the afternoons, I'm usually useless. And in the evenings, I'm quite creative as well. And I can do this because my work is flexible. You need to experiment. You need to find your way of not screwing yourself over, not falling into traps that exist in your psyche. You need to experiment. And this experimentation never stops. I'm always trying to be innovative and find out new ways where I can structure my time to find that ultimate morning routine. It's always going to change. I hope this was useful to you. I'm a total nerd in finding habits and ways to be more productive and creative and just enjoy life more. And if you want to do a deep dive into productivity, remember I'm offering one-on-one coaching where I really transform my clients' mindsets around time and productivity. And you can also follow me on YouTube, social media, everywhere. I'm trying to give as much value for you as possible for free. So stick around and we'll see you in the next video. Let's see what treasures we're going to find there. See you then.